Hi, my name is Jenessee and I'm going to be your chakra guide for this month's beginner's journey. And so what we do each month is we get really clear on one aspect of our chakra system and really live the whole entire month in connection to what it could mean to be working with this specific aspect of our chakra system. So first we have to understand what is the chakra system, because I work not just with the 7 chakras, but I work in a multidimensional framework. So I work with the X, Y, and Z axis of your chakras, or the mental, emotional, and physical expressions of your chakras. So when I look at that, that creates a 77 window grid is what I call it. And depending on what this collective energy is and what's happening right now this month will determine what kind of experiences you have as we choose to work on mastering this one aspect that I'm going to work with you today on. So today we're looking at window 21. Window 21 is a hyper chakra. So we need to explain what a hyper chakra is first. In classic chakra theory, we've got balanced, our 7 balanced chakras. This creates our physical reality. We've got root all the way up to crown. And then we have emotional experiences and we've got mental experiences as well. The mental dictates and creates our past and our future. And so when we look at hypo or hyper chakras, what we're actually looking at is when our chakra system gets too projected into the future or too stuck in the past. And so basically when a chakra is spinning hypo, we're too stuck in patterns of our past, and when a chakra is spinning hyper, we're projecting too much into our future. And so that's what we're going to work on today. Window 21 is a sacral chakra energy that is projected too far into the future. And what this does is it creates obsession, and it's usually obsession over relationships or something you're creating or birthing into this reality. And we'll get more into that in a minute. But basically, what we're going to do is look at how you can master working with this energy this month. Try and pinpoint where you might be having experiences that are taking you out of the present moment and getting you too focused on what's coming or what the potential is that you're getting stuck in, right? So again, just to repeat, and if you work with me long enough, I repeat myself at least 10 times before I feel like the message has been landed. But what we think, which is our mental field, what we feel, which is our emotions, the emotional plane, and then how we choose to act, what we do, what movements we take in this physical reality, create our auric field, our energetic reality. It creates the narrative of what our consciousness is experiencing. And so what we think and feel and act on is all connected to our chakra system. And so when we look at basically projecting too much into the future, what's happening is our mind is focused too much on something that's not here. I always say this is a false timeline. When your mental field is hyper aware, hyper focused on, an argument you had with somebody yesterday and now you're worried about meeting them tomorrow or having to work with them tomorrow, or, anything where your mental field starts to play these games of trying to predict what's going to happen or trying to understand before it even happens, or trying to, give you multiple pathways that you could try and figure out before you arrive at a situation, right? So anytime your mind is in that reality, what you're doing is you're creating multiple energetic potentials. And what this does when we create multiple energetic potentials is it takes your life force energy out of this moment and it projects it into some future timeline that is what I call a false paradigm, because it's most of those things you're thinking about aren't even going to happen. And what you're doing is you're projecting energy into all of these different potentials just in case. And what that does is it completely depletes you here. It makes then your ability to think, feel, and act in this moment, it makes it less powerful or less, again, your life force energy is now out in all of these other things. So it makes you just a lesser person. It makes you less grounded, less present with what is. And basically, in order to arrive harmoniously at any situation in the future, we have to be really anchored into what's happening here, having and maintaining all of our optimal energy in this moment so that we can stay in that most beautiful flow to get to tomorrow. And what a lot of us do is we project from our mind into some future potential and try and organize a whole lot of situations that feel right before we get there, right? So that we're not surprised, so that we can control the situation, so that we're prepared. And that can take a lot of your authenticity out of what the true essence needs to be in the moment. So that is all an explanation of a hyper projecting chakra. So what we're working on today is window 21. And window 21 is a sacral chakra energy that is hyper projected into the future. Sacral chakra works on relationships. It works on your creativity or your passion or what you're creating, birthing right now, right? So I think of a lot of like artistry energy or could be like inventing energy, but it's more artist than inventing. Inventing would be more third eye chakra, where artist is like you're getting your hands in something and really creating it, massaging it to life, right? So this is that creative energy that really gets you fired up and makes you inspired to create something new. And then also it's about flow. It's about maintaining and staying in the flow. And so when we talk about a hypersacral chakra, a lot of times when I read people's energy fields and see a hypersacral chakra, what's happening is they're really concerned or worried about something that's in their external reality, typically most of the time people, and they're hyper focused on their relationship, whether it be romantic or friendship or, you know, boss coworker, some kind of power dynamic. And so they're really focused on that. And then what happens is it takes away a lot of this, again, flow or that ability to be really creative, responsive, intuitive in the moment to allow yourself to naturally and authentically navigate whatever is happening within and between you and that person or that relationship in the situation you're in. And so this month in mastering window 21, what I want you to be really focused on is how often your mind is projecting into the future. Again, projecting just means when you have these daydream moments or when you're in your car driving and thinking about, you know, how do I prepare for tomorrow's meeting? What am I going to do? And run through this whole gamut of list itemized things. And that's okay. Sometimes in life we have to prepare. But what we don't want to happen is when you're projecting and thinking about what you need to do or what encounters you're going to have, sometimes then we get stuck in our projections and we feed that projection by bringing emotion. So what we're looking for here as a dysfunction of the sacral chakra is when we're getting obsessive about the relationships or the encounters we're going to have with people, and then we start to get emotional and we're looking at the dense emotions. And even it could be when you're living in your mind, let's just say a great romantic love, and you're living in your mind and projecting visions or daydreams about somebody that you love, and then you're completely obsessing right over those experiences. This is living in something that's not there. This is living in a fantasy or a fake, false reality. And so what happens is we trap our energy there and we start living in that expectation. And then what ends up happening in this reality or this moment is out of balance to what we're projecting. And that can create a lot of disease, discomfort for us. So this month, I want you to focus on when you're living outside of yourself in a mental game, right? And then it has to do with somebody else. And then you're actually getting emotional or feeding that false thought with, and I shouldn't say false thought, but that projection or something that isn't here yet, that future thought with an emotion. And so this would indicate that you are in the hyper sacral chakra energy field. And so we're mastering this window. We're mastering the awareness of what it means to get stuck in those situations. Again, why is that bad? Because when we live in these false paradigms, we then have expectation, attachment, agendas that are connected to these things could never ever even happen in our reality. And so what it does is it creates a lot of confusion, anxiety, disconnect for you in this moment. And so we are mastering this energy, and a master sacral chakra energy is all about again, fluidity, creativity, harmonious relationships, and then the end-all, be-all mastery is full acceptance. And so how we look at the truth of the sacral chakra is through acceptance. And so when you can just accept what is and not get stuck in the obsessive thoughts of your mind and what you're projecting outwardly as far as obsessions with people, obsessions with connections, right? When you can just accept and be within what is, that is what brings everything into balance within the level of your sacral chakra energy. So I encourage you to play with the master window energy of obsession and see how many times you can catch yourself. Again, I love when you find yourself being obsessed over people, relationships, and things. This whole month, I would love it. It's a good thing to catch yourself having a hyper sacral chakra, because then you get to have that experience of swinging really far out into a hyper chakra, and then you can navigate yourself back to the truth, which is just accepting what is, clearing out any of that, mental projections, and then just finding the flow again. So with so much light and love, if you haven't already, please explore the chakrasroottocrown website and app and membership site. We've got so much going on and so much to help you along with your journey and working on this